Hello, Saturnians. So today I thought I would share with you some things that I have learned as a tarot reader over the years. Because listening to the stories of people and watching the unfolding of their choices has taught me many lessons. But before we get started, I want to welcome new subscribers. If it's your first time here, talk to me in the comments so that I know who you are. And if you're coming back, thank you so much. You are the best. All right, let's get started. So, future is not set in stone, but this is probably the most important thing I have learned as a tarot reader over the years. In the process of reading for other people, I have had the opportunity to observe how the so-called predictions unfold. If we say to the querent that something is going to happen, we are assuming that the querent has no free will and that the future is already set in stone. I don't want to assume that the querent cannot change the outcome of a situation because, here is the most important detail. If we make this assumption that the future is already predetermined, the fact that one is coming to a tarot reading already means that the reading is part of the outcome, right? It means that it was predicted that they would come and see the future. So, in this scenario, the querent will still hear what they need to hear. So, picture this hypothetical situation. A woman comes to me and she's upset because she has been with this man for years and they never take a step forward. She asks me, is he going to propose? Are we getting married? I cannot take this uncertainty anymore. It's killing me. This is not going anywhere. So I have a quick look at the cards and I say, you know what? Forget about this man. This is not going anywhere. He's leading you on because he doesn't want the responsibility. I see somebody else for you in the future. I see this rich and handsome man, and you have two lovely kids with this other man. Of course, this is hypothetical because I never speak like that. This is just to illustrate. But imagine that this woman, impressed by the reading, she goes home and tells her boyfriend that she no longer wants that relationship because she's sure that there is something better for her in the future. And that she, cannot deal anymore with the uncertainty. So her boyfriend, feeling like he's going to lose her, kneels down and proposes to her. He says he's sorry and that he wants to get married and have a family. How about 2 kids? You see? Now I ask you, was the reading wrong? Was I wrong with that first prediction? Or was that reading part of the whole unfolding of the true outcome that was in the works in the background? In my experience as a tarot reader, whatever comes up in a reading is always part of the process. The reading itself is part of the so-called prediction. There was a time in my tarot journey in which I would be very annoyed when somebody came to me asking me for future predictions. I used to say then that,
this is not how tarot works. I do not predict the future because you do have choices, you have free will. Instead, I will show you what is happening, and if you do not like what the cards are showing you, maybe that means that you should start doing something different so that you can create a different outcome. The cards will show the future that is unfolding as a result of your present actions. And if you're coming to me, that means that you can look at this possible outcome and make a decision about whether you want it or not.
of course, this remains valid, and this is how I understand predictive readings. However, I no longer get annoyed when people ask about the future and what is going to happen. Instead, I give them exactly what the cards say. And this is already part of their outcome, right? This is already leading to what was supposed to be. Which leads me to the next point. Words have power. As a tarot reader, we have to be very aware of our words because we can literally speak things into existence. The querent will take into account what we have told them and plan their next steps with our words in mind. So we have to make sure that our words will trigger the best case scenario instead of the worst case scenario. So, if the reading is showing a very difficult situation in the context of the question, maybe somebody, is asking you about a divorce and you get the Ten of Swords, the Tower, and the Devil all in the same spread. The way you communicate what you are seeing in the cards will sometimes determine the outcome. So here I could say, well, see this Ten of Swords? Somebody has been trying to stab you in the back. You're not in a good situation. The Tower here, well, you will probably lose your security, and beware of this devil because your partner is trying to manipulate you. You will see his true colors, yada yada yada. You could say that. Or you could say, wow, this Ten of Swords tells me that you have been feeling burdened and defeated in your relationship. So this Tower is welcome because it will destroy the toxic patterns and you will finally break free. This Devil means that you will reclaim your self-power back as a result of the destruction of your so-called security and foundations, so that you can build stronger and happier foundations instead. You see, I don't like to sugarcoat, so it's important that the querent sees these two possible scenarios, but my job as a reader is to emphasize that the querent can create the second outcome instead of the first, so that when the Tower moment comes, I want the querent to see it as breaking free from prison instead of the destruction of their foundations. We can make this association happen in their mind. I could go on and on explaining how the fact that we gave the second possible scenario could actually create the second scenario. But, this is for another video. What I'm trying to say is, it is my job as a tarot reader to emphasize the best case scenario in order to create an association in the querent's mind. Okay, so that when they see the signs that the so-called prediction is unfolding, they automatically associate it with the best case scenario instead of the worst case scenario. Right. Tarot cards are always about you and never about someone else. Tarot cards pick up on the subconscious mind of the querent. The message is always for the querent, never to someone else who is not listening. So, if a querent is asking a question about a third person who's not present, the cards will pick up on the subjective judgment that the querent has about said third person. The best course of action when someone starts asking about another person, what this person is doing, do they have a new partner, are they cheating on me, blah blah blah. The best thing to do when this happens is to investigate why the querent is so concerned about what another person is doing. Instead of asking if your ex-partner has moved on, why don't you ask instead how you can move on so that you don't worry about what your ex-partner is doing? Instead of asking if your partner is cheating on you, why don't you ask, why are you in a relationship in which you always feel suspicious about your partner? I mean, if you have to ask tarot readers all the time whether your partner is cheating on you, there is something fundamentally wrong with this relationship. So let's explore why you feel so insecure about this person instead. You see, so maybe someone comes for a relationship reading and they end up getting a shadow work reading. Yeah, I know this will piss some people off, but I make that clear when it comes to me. So this is something that I have learned over the years, that the cards are always about you. Just like when you have a dream, the dream is always about you and never about the people that appear in your dreams, as they are just symbolic representations of what is going on in your mind. Sometimes letting go is more important than persistence. Society values persistence. We are told to never give up on our dreams, to never give up hope. We are taught to persist and do what it takes. But sometimes happiness and fulfillment comes when we choose to walk away from something that we have been holding on to, because if we let go, we are considered to be weak. I have lost account of how many times people come for a tarot reading trying to fix a relationship that is no longer working, trying to hold on to a job that no longer serves them, trying to make something work when this one thing has already given several signs that it will not work. And what is behind this is that these people have been taught by society that walking away will make them weak. There is more value in holding on to a project than giving up. Being a tarot reader and listening to people's stories has taught me that sometimes letting go and walking away brings more long-term fulfillment than pursuing a dream. Dreams can be fluid. We don't need to stick to a plan simply because at some point in time we made a decision. It is okay to change plans, create new dreams, and say that you don't want anymore that one thing that you wanted so badly when you were young and naive. And this takes me to the next point. We rarely regret the risks we take in the name of the pursuit of wonder. After reading tarot for different people of different ages and different walks of life, I realized that many people come for a tarot reading when they need to be encouraged to try something new out of their comfort zone, because they are scared and they need validation. They need someone else to tell them, oh yeah babe, take that trip. You want to sell everything and backpack around the world? Hell yeah, just go ahead. You want to leave same old job with same old people and same old boss and change careers at the age of 50 after allowing the same old company to eat your soul for 20 plus years because you realized you can no longer take it? Hell yeah, go ahead and do it. In my experience, the cards never tell a person, oh no, you should remain miserable because it's safer. You should stay in a toxic relationship because there is nothing better for you anyway. You should not try because you will most definitely fail. Well, cards never say that. At least I haven't seen it. I have learned from my cards that the thing we will regret the most is always the trip we did not take, the love we did not make, the courage we did not have, and the words that were left unsaid. So, being a tarot reader has taught me to never be scared, to try something new. Even if it turns out to be a bad choice, it feels less doomed to try and fail than never even trying in the first place. So, I do not want to become that person lamenting the things I haven't done out of fear. And when I sense that someone comes for a reading because they are trying to convince themselves to do something amazing with their lives against all odds, I try to keep that flame alive, because I have seen way too many people regretting not taking the chances when they could. And some people self-sabotage a lot. Some people want a tarot reader to talk them out of their enthusiasm so that they can go back to safety. But in my humble experience, the cards never say no to an amazing experience. So these are some of the things I have learned. I might make more videos updating this list every time that I have more to say about this. Thank you so much for being here, and let me know in the comments what are the things that you have learned as a tarot reader. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.